Hey guys, so if you're in our martial arts and MMA classes, you're going to get to the point where you're ready to test for your belts. Our belt system goes white, yellow, green, blue, red and black, and then our black belt. Now if you're under the age of 16, you'll be testing for your junior black belt, where we have more kid-based criteria. And then when you're over 16, we add in some more adult-based criteria. Make it a little tougher, a few more extra things that you need to do for that adult black belt. But either way, it is your ultimate goal, an awesome goal to have to reach that black belt. I want to just go over a few things that will help you when you get to your first yellow belt test. First, when it's time to test, just make sure that you're ready. Even a young kid, I want you guys to make sure, so parents, you can help them, make sure that they get out their testing requirement sheet. It's one of the first things that they have to be in control of and take care of is their testing requirement sheet. They shouldn't be losing it, putting it somewhere and forgetting where it is. They should have a little folder or notebook. They keep their requirement sheet in and any other notes that they want to take that can go along with that requirement sheet. We're trying to teach them how to be more responsible, how to have some self-discipline, and some good life skills. But when you get to testing, you want to make sure you're prepared. You want to make sure you've reviewed your requirement sheet. And I get it, like younger kids, if 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, if they can't really read all the words and stuff, parents are going to have to help them along with that a little bit too. And I'm more lenient on them when they come in for their tests at that age. But as they get older and more responsible, then we're going to want to see more out of them, and more responsibility gets put on them. All right. But when you're doing your movements in a test, it should be done perfect. And make sure that you come in for your test wearing at least your uniform pants, your belt or shorts, and one of our shirts. Don't come in wearing yoga pants or some random set of shorts or some shirt that has nothing to do with our karate system. Make sure, because we're pretty lenient on our uniform, traditional schools can be very strict with the uniforms that you have to wear. But since we are a little more lenient with it, make sure that you're at least wearing the RFC approved uniform, right? T-shirt is fine, pants is fine, our shorts is fine, just don't come in some random outfit. All right, but that's pretty much, most of the things you should be thinking about when you're coming in for your test. Being prepared, wearing the right stuff. Make sure you have your belt. That's important too. And try to come in with and be as confident as you can when you're testing. There are a few things on the requirement sheet that you're going to need to know, and you need to know really good. There are a few things that people get confused, and really what I want to show now is just some things for parents, so you can help your child to come in and do a better job on their test. Because a lot of times I know that parents are like, I want to help them practice, but I'm not sure if they're doing it the right way. The number one way you can know if they're doing it the right way is to take karate along with them. I know sometimes parents write off karate these days as a little kid thing, but it really started mostly as an adult sport and has morphed into a great sport for kids, but it's a great sport as well for adults, and life skill as well. So, keep that in mind. If you do things together as a family, that's how you can ensure that your kids stick with something, because they know that you're enthusiastic and excited about what they're doing. But there are some moves that you can help them with. Now, if you get a pair of focus pads, you can hold the focus pads for them and help them to practice some of their basic movements. For the yellow belt test, they need to know how to throw a proper punch, a reverse punch and a lunge punch, or the two punches and a back fist. So we could really say 3 punching techniques that they're really going to know for their yellow belt test. Make sure when they're making a fist that their wrist is flat, okay? The wrist should be pretty straight. The thumb should be on the outside. We teach them all this, but it's good to reinforce it. Just make sure that they're doing it the right way. The little guys sometimes will put their thumb in, not realizing it. Make sure that you bring the fingers in, and then that thumb goes on the outside. The wrist is nice and flat, and you're aiming with the big knuckles We like to aim with the first 2 knuckles when we're going bare fist. With gloves on, sometimes we'll teach even the middle knuckles. But just, making sure we're hitting with the big knuckles and not these. Because if you're hitting with these bottom knuckles, you're going to hurt your hands, hurt your fingers, and you're going to hurt your wrist. So you want a nice flat wrist, aiming with the big strong knuckles. Now a reverse punch, in boxing we call it a cross or a straight right. In karate we call it a reverse punch. Just different terminology, but pretty much the same idea. Your hands should be up in your sparring stance. You're rotating into your punch and pivoting on the back foot. So the back foot comes up to the ball of the foot, the hip turns, and you fire that punch out. Nice flat wrist, and come right back to your face. So some karate styles will have traditional styles that keep their hands down here like this. We typically work more out of a boxing and kickboxing style with the hands, keeping the hands up in a good realistic way. Throwing the punch from the face and then bringing it back to your chin. All right, so that's the reverse punch. Now, the lunge punch, you're going to be stepping with the back foot into the punch. In boxing or kickboxing, it's considered shifting, and you're shifting your weight, changing your stance, and coming in so you can kind of bridge the distance, bridge that gap a little bit more than if you just rotate into it. Sometimes you can throw your opponent off, but it can give you a little more distance as well. So once in a while, you might go to a lunge punch instead of a reverse punch, but basically you're just stepping into it, letting your weight shift into that punch, driving that weight down your arm. When you finish with your punch, either your reverse punch or your lunge punch, your chin should be down, protected by your shoulder. You don't want to throw your punches with your head up real high in the air. Your shoulder can protect your face so that you're not getting hit with any kind of counter shots while you're throwing that punch out there. So chin just stays down behind that shoulder. Arm extends all the way until that shoulder hits your cheek, and then it comes back. So reverse punches here, lunge punches here. As we get more advanced, we do ridge hands and things like that, which is similar, keeping the chin down, letting that shoulder turn, protecting our face. The back fist is, and I didn't really touch on the jab, but the jab is your front hand coming out this way. We use it a lot in boxing. In karate, we tend to use a little more of our feet as a jab, like front kicks and stuff, but your jab is still an important punch nonetheless. And then your back fist turns the opposite way, kind of coming from the back of your hand this direction or on a slight angle from inside to outside. You're still aiming with the big knuckles though, not really the back of your hand because you can hurt the back of your hand. You're still trying to aim with those big knuckles. And if you're doing this without gloves on, you would definitely want to make sure you're aiming with those big knuckles, okay? So that's your back fist, just a different angle to get around the hands, get around the guard, and try to score. Back fist is great to set up a reverse punch, so a lot of times we'll work on a back fist up high, and then a reverse punch down low. Get their hands up for the block, to block their back fist, and then drop that reverse punch down low. So the jab is here, the back fist is here, or from a slight inside to outside angle. The reverse punch is here. Notice my other hand stays up, chin stays down, and my lunge punch, I'm closing the gap a little more with that step moving in. All right, so those are some punches you can go over. You can start with that. Practice with your daughter or your son. Help them be more prepared for their yellow belt test, and then everything builds from there. You're not going to be able to help them as they start to get more advanced, outside of maybe just knowing how to hold a mitt for them, or just making sure you reinforce the fact that they have to get through their classes when they get a little lazy. That's really a parent's main job, is to make sure your kids get to class and make sure your kids don't quit. Don't be the parent that says, oh, well, if you don't really feel like going, I don't want to keep paying for it if you don't really like it. Don't be that parent. That's the parent that sets their kids up for failure. Be the parent that says, you know what, I understand you're a little tired. We all get a little tired, but guess what? You're going to go to karate. You're going to feel better after you go. Make sure you're enthusiastic about their training. Because if you are and you want to help them, if you say, hey, show me what you're learning. Show me, let's practice together. How about I come in and try out a class too? Even if you're doing the boxing or the kickboxing classes, they're going to know that you are excited about what they're doing and they're going to look up to you. Don't nitpick every little thing they do wrong. We all do stuff wrong. that's how you'll learn. And they're going to do a lot more things wrong as they go through their belt systems until they get it perfect. But it's easy to look out from the outside and say, oh man, he didn't do that right, or oh man, he's not working hard enough, or whatever. And just remember that it's not as easy as it looks sometimes, right? Sometimes we need a little push, we need a little kick, but just don't nitpick on every little thing they do wrong. Pick out the things they're doing good. Pick out the things when you notice something, an improvement in them, say, wow, I really liked how your focus was that class. Or wow, I liked how you did your push-ups with better form. You really bent your arms all the way down. Or man, you really put a lot of effort into your sparring tonight. You looked quick out there. That's going to help them to build their confidence. Don't tell them something that's not true, but point out the things that they are doing well. Try to have a positive, maybe with a negative, and then give them another positive, right? So you can do some corrections, like tell them what they're doing wrong, but make it a positive, a correct, and then a positive again. Don't just say you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, because the kids are going to, over time, lose some enthusiasm for what they're doing if they think they're always getting told they're doing things wrong. All right, so there's a great feeling and sense of accomplishment every time they come in and get a different belt in here. Help them along with it. Do what you can do. Hope this video helps. I'll try to get back on some more techniques that you can work with them. Maybe the next video we'll do some kicking, just so you can kind of have some checkpoints to help them along their way, because their ultimate goal is to get to that black belt and even beyond black belt. But they need you to help them sometimes, give them that little extra push, and just make sure that they stay motivated. We do our best to keep them motivated in here, but a lot of that starts at home, so we need your help as well. This is a team effort here to make sure that one day your kids get their black belts and don't look back and just say, well, yeah, I used to do karate. All right, so look forward to seeing the kids in class working towards their next belts. They can do it. The only way you don't get a black belt is by not trying or by quitting. So we'll see you guys next class. Oh, and don't forget, 2 most important moves you're ever going to learn are your attention stance and your bow. Attention stance teaches you self-discipline and self-control, and our bow teaches respect. And you need respect for both yourself and for others. All right, we'll see you next time. It's Coach Rob signing off.